Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches por la hora que sea. Bienvenidos otra vez. Another Spanish Nerd live stream. Thank you all for coming. Today we're going to talk about more resources because the last live stream we talked a little bit about resources, but I didn't talk about everything, or I didn't touch on every single point que quise tocar. Entonces, esa live stream vamos a hablar un poco más sobre los recursos de español. Número 33, Spanish Nerd live stream number 33. So we're getting up there. And for whatever reason, for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I keep mixing up 13 y 30, so 30 and 13. I have no idea why, because they're fairly easy. I think they're, let's see, 13 y 30. For whatever reason, I keep messing that up. So when people ask me how old I am, I keep saying like, "Oh, yo tengo 13 años," instead of, but I'm not 13 years old, of course. Pero esas dos palabras me habían confundido demasiado. For all those who are joining, let me know de dónde es usted, where are you from, and how long you have been learning Spanish for. Yo soy, déjame hablar directamente en mi micrófono, primero que nada, because I'm not talking directly in my microphone there. Here we go. Hola, desde trabajo, Sean. Qué excelente. Muchas gracias por unirte. Good to see you here. Even through work, you still todavía podrías entrarte. Qué excelente. ¿Y cómo has estado? Por mí, yo soy de los Estados Unidos y yo empecé a aprender español cuando tenía 13 años. When I was about 13 years old when I first started learning Spanish. Pero clases formales, like formal classes, but not, I wouldn't say like real, the basics from high school to college, the basics, but learn how to actually speak Spanish, I would say, after I got out of school, how to communicate in Spanish well after school, not while I was in it. Entonces, ha sido un camino bastante duro, para decirlo menos. Pero dígame in la chat how long you have been learning Spanish for and where are you from? Me encantaría saber las respuestas. Y desde el colegio, desde la universidad, yo tengo como que 3 años, déjame ver. 2, man. About 3 years studying Spanish outside of formal classes. So it's been fun. It's been a lot more fun learning Spanish outside of classes, I would say, from my personal experience, than learning in classes. But I also wasn't focused on actually learning the language when I was in school because I didn't care about learning languages. Let's say like 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't really care. I was just learning language just to get a good grade. So things are fairly different nowadays. Bastante diferente. Un mundo diferente, para decir la verdad. Y también voy a poner eso en la... Vamos a ver si you say monitor, or how would you say this? En la frente de la... en la frente. Vamos a say that, en la frente. Also, let me know what resources you are using. Right now, I'm using a lot of Spotify for podcasts. I should listen to too much podcasts these days. Mostly, you use Spotify for songs, Spanish songs, and I do a lot of reading too. So we got Spotify for music, YouTube, of course, YouTube videos for learning Spanish, and reading. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más utilizo? I don't really use any other applications besides YouTube and Spotify. I don't use any courses for learning Spanish right now because I don't have patience for that to actually use a course. But I don't know if there are any advanced courses. That's one thing I'm trying to find. That's one thing I want to see if it's actually useful or not. If I can use like an advanced Spanish learner course and see if that actually helps me. But that's something I haven't found just yet. Oh yeah, I guess I also use Spanish Dicta, of course. That's another application I use. Actually, I should just check on my phone. Entonces, yo utilizo un poco de TikTok. Sometimes I use TikTok as well, but not that much. So I use YouTube, Spotify, Spanish Dick, a little bit of TikTok sometimes, and then Instagram también a veces. Instagram more or less for like the comment section. The comments in Instagram I think are very very helpful. Me gusta utilizar Instagram and TikTok for that. And I would recommend that to everybody to use those like TikTok and Instagram for those, just for like reading comments and stuff, but not to like actually look at all the content on there because it's a little bit hard. It's a little bit, I would say it's pretty difficult. It's difficult to learn a language when you're using apps like those, like TikTok or Instagram, because it's really easy to get distracted. Way, way, way too easy to get distracted. But I like to read the comments, especially in TikTok. Ah, think it was a Busu. Ah, okay. Yeah, I've heard good things about Busu. I've heard good things. I haven't used it myself though. I'm not using any courses for Spanish. The only thing I use for French is I use Duolingo. Duolingo is about the only application I've used for like actual course for learning a language. Just Duolingo so far. I kind of want to use other ones, but of course, you probably know if you use a lot of different resources, then that can get very confusing sometimes. And time, of course, trying to put so much time to different resources can be difficult. Also, with courses specifically, because courses kind of take a decent amount of time to use. But I might try it for French or something like that. Might try Busu. What's the other one? I don't know if Busu. Do you have to pay for Busu? Let's see. I don't know if that's free or not. I'm gonna get a free trial. Start for free. Okay. Hablo un idioma en tan solo 10 minutos al día. Oh, it's okay. They kind of have that kind of like Duolingo style, I guess. Well, as far as like time wise, learning a little bit every single day. Ah, es gratis de probar. Pero como que cuando pruebas la aplicación, ¿se puede aprender mucho o solamente es como 5 días de probar y después tienes que pagar para el curso completo? It would be nice. That's why I like Duolingo, because most of it's free and you don't need to pay for it. Even though I do have the yeah, I did, I did pay for Duolingo just to try out the paid version. I don't think it's that. Una semana, okay. Una semana creo, but I don't know how much. You don't need to pay for the like Duolingo. Is it Super Duolingo? Unless you really want to, but merece la pena del gasto. Oh, de Busu? Okay. I've also heard that as well. I've also heard that it como que vale la pena pagar, definitivamente. Vamos a ver, quizás un día. Vamos a ver. I know a lot of people use a lot of different courses. I mean, you can find really any kind of course. Like it doesn't have to be from any kind of like big brand or big name or anything like that. I mean, there's plenty of like small little courses that you can find online. Like I think let's see, Spanish study. Well, not even necessarily courses, like complete courses, but just there's plenty of websites you can find, of course, on the internet where they just have plenty of different resources for learning Spanish, like pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, verb drills. Because right now I'm reading off of StudySpanish.com, so they have Study Spanish is really good. StudySpanish.com. I mean, like its website, it just has just resources on pronunciation, grammar, many different topics. So there's a lot of free content that you can find online, which I love because I like looking for free resources. Definitely free resources, recursos gratis, gratuita. So there's plenty of them. But then the only difficult part is actually finding them because there's so many of them. You get kind of not necessarily confused, but just kind of overloaded with information. Like there's so much to learn. Like studyspanish.com, they have Unit 1, gender nouns, numbers, regular verbs, days of the week. Unit 4, direct object pronouns, verbs like gustar, present progressive. So like literally, I mean, a lot of things that like a grammar book would have. Subjunctive, desire, ignorance. I mean, this is free. I'll put this in the chat too. But I've found many different websites like this. Study Spanish. Oh, hello. There we go. Yeah, so that one's just called studyspanish.com. I'm trying to think. There's some other free ones that I've used. Let's see. Déjame ver. Que tenemos Spanish resources. Recursos. Gratis. And websites for learning grammar. I know people like during the live streams and in the comment section, they have talked about Closemaster as well. And which one is this? It's funny. I didn't even know that many people knew about Closemaster. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought I was the only one who knew about it. Onion, qué buena pregunta. Onion asks, what got you into learning Spanish? Personally, for me, it was Lao Shu 5500. I need to watch more of his content. I only watched a few of his videos. But initially is I had to learn Spanish for in school, so that's like what initially got me into Spanish. But then I would say after I got out of my classes, or after I stopped taking Spanish classes, I started just learning Spanish on my own, and then from there I got more interested in learning Spanish. So I mean, I would say it kind of does have to do with other Spanish learners as well. Because when I first started to watch, or when I first started to learn Spanish on my own after school, then I started to watch a lot of YouTube videos, started to hear a lot of other language learner stories, and then that's kind of what enticed me as well. But then yeah, I just kind of fell in love with the process of learning Spanish and the process of learning language. Yeah, it was just really fun. And I liked, like learning new vocabulary, and then especially when I started to have conversations with Spanish speakers, that's when like really I fell in love with it, the language even more so, because I got to meet new people, got to have more friends, and started to learn a lot more that way, and then getting more into Spanish culture. So definitely has been like I would say like a progression from just like learning a little bit, for school, but then after that, started to learn by myself, por mi cuenta en la casa, y después de ahí, la cultura. La cultura me llama la atención, and now like Spanish is my life, and yeah. And Onion, what specifically about Laos's channel got you interested in learning Spanish? Like you just hearing him speak Spanish or him talking about Spanish is what got you interested? Sean, Sibusu es como unos libros de texto, pero es buenísimo. Ok, libros de texto. Como libros, como en qué contexto? Como la gramática, así. La gramática con explicaciones. Ok, exactamente. A lo que se refiere. I also love blogs. I love blogs a lot as well. I love using blogs when it comes to learning language. Y también no te olvides de like this live stream that you are currently watching, que estás viendo actualmente. Like it and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Les aprecio muchísimo. Getting close. My goal for this year is to get 10,000 subscribers. That would be pretty awesome if we could get that many subscribers. Getting close to 5,000 right now. 5,000 suscriptores. So that's pretty exciting. So I mean, the channel is going fast. So I like that. I like that because it tells me, like the main thing that tells me is that a lot more people are interested in learning. There's a lot of people who are interested in learning language. Hay mucha gente que está interesado en aprendiendo idiomas y específicamente español. Y eso me pone muy feliz. So that makes me very happy that people desire to learn Spanish and are trying to get into language learning. And I hope I can be that little spark. No solo spark, como es un chispa. Una chispa de pasión en sus corazones. Also, if you are just coming in, déjame saber where you are from, de dónde es usted, como el país, no la ciudad, pero el país. Yo soy de los Estados Unidos, and how long you have been learning Spanish for. Me encantaría saber. Let me know that in the chat box here. Onion Cebolla says first was the other languages like Chinese or Japanese, but then thought about who are most around me in terms of language and what resources I can use. I was a sophomore then and needed to get my credit. So I picked Espanol. Okay, excelente. Buena opción. Spanish is a beautiful language. I don't know if I would ever see un día atreverme. Sí me atrevería a aprender japonés o chino, no tengo ni idea. Because those languages seem incredibly hard to learn. So I don't know. Pero un aplauso para todos que están aprendiendo estos dos idiomas. Yeah, I don't know how many languages did he learn? Do you know? I'm not sure how many he learned. Pero aparte de eso, me encantaría aprender. Oh, también, Onion, let me know what resource are you using currently, actualmente. It's funny because like recently I keep mixing up cebolla. 50 languages? That's insane. I don't even know how that. Wow, I can't even imagine something like that. So for whatever reason, I keep this is like really relevant to your name right now, but I keep mixing up these or mixing up this. I don't know why. Randomly, I just started mixing this up. So onion in Spanish is cebolla, but for whatever reason, I keep saying cebollo. Like out of nowhere, I've never made this mistake before in my life, and it's like I don't know. Pero me confunda. Pero cebolla, but I just started saying cebollo, like out of the blue. So that's been kind of challenging to stop saying cebolla. Hey Jedi, cebollón. Muchas gracias por uniendo a nuestro video en directo. Pero déjame saber what resources are you using right now to learn Spanish, or not just Spanish, but what other language or any other language that you are learning as well. I'm currently reading, well, multiple books, but the main one, right? It's annoying. It's a really weird mistake. I'm trying to read, or let's see, yo tengo ahora mismo yo había leído 100 páginas de ese libro. Fundación. Oh, ahí, Fundación. So, eso es un libro de ciencia ficción. I'm starting to understand a little bit more, but como me aburre un poquito. I'm a little bored by the plot so far, but I'm not even halfway into the book yet, so yeah, es como ese libro tiene 255, no, 200, este libro tiene 259 páginas, entonces no debería quejarme tanto. Sí, todavía había leído un chin de este libro. But that's the hard part about reading books. That's like the hardest part of reading books. It takes like a decent amount of pages for you to start understanding, or for me specifically, it takes me a decent amount of pages for me to start understanding what's going on and to get kind of interested into the book. That's just kind of how books are. But I love to read. I do recommend that people read. I recommend every language learner read. That's one thing I never recommend. And I know like some language learners may say, "Oh, I don't like to read." I'm pretty sure most people do. People say they don't like to read books, but I disagree. I disagree because a lot of people, or I would say, I'm sure a decent amount of people, they text message their friends. They look at comments in like Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. And for me, I call that reading. So I say, if you like to read those things, then you can read a book because basically it's just a whole bunch of text messages or a whole bunch of YouTube comments, if you ask me, but like with a story. So I definitely recommend that people or language learners specifically read more books because there's so many benefits of reading, and it's fun and educational, and I like educational stuff. Ay, micrófono. ¿Qué está pasando? Okay. Okay. Ahí estamos. Ahí. Ahí. No te mueves. Okay, Cebolla, Onion, just Duolingo and Duolingo's podcast. Their podcast is really good for me now, but I want to learn more now. So I saw your channel and one other channel, felt fits for me where I'm at right now. Awesome. It's good to know. Good to hear. That's just a few resources. That's pretty good. I slipped back a while ago and recently getting into it right now. Que excelente. Sí, definitivamente no te pares de estudiar. No te pares. Definitely don't stop studying because it's hard to get back into it. Just like kind of like anything in life. Like once you stop doing something, it takes some time to get back into it, get into the flow, get consistent, get used to it again. And language learning is definitely one of those things. Like for me, I haven't ran in a long time, but if I say I want to run like 3 miles today, that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to start probably like at half a mile, maybe like a half a mile or a quarter mile, then build up to a half a mile, then build up to a mile, then build up to 2 millas, and then 3 millas. I don't know how long that would take. Probably a while. But yeah, just like that. Which is also why I recommend studying Spanish every single day or learning Spanish every single day. Doesn't have to be a lot, but I recommend doing that just because you get into the habit of it, and then it starts to become more of your life, and like you don't have to think about actually like, oh, I need to like learn Spanish today. It's like, oh no, it's just something I always do, something that it's just normal to do, so that I can know it's a part of my life. But yeah, I won't rant about that like I always do. Yeah, so definitely read. One thing I gotta find that word. But recently, I think, well, when I was with my iTalki tutor last year, like the end of last year, she taught me what frowning was in Spanish, and I never knew what frowning was in Spanish, which is something super simple, but I never knew what it was until recently, until a few months ago. But now I've been reading this book, and then I see it a lot, and I've never seen this word used before until I started reading this book a lot. Like even in like the comments again, like Instagram or TikTok or wherever, like or even like my friends, I never heard anybody say frown really before in Spanish, which is kind of strange. Does anybody else know what frown how to say frown in Spanish? I remember trying to explain that to somebody. I'm like, how do you say frown in Spanish? And I was like, como el opuesto de sonreír or el opuesto de sonrisa, like the opposite of a smile. But then I was trying to explain what a frown was, but I know how to explain that in Spanish. I memorized all the veggies at Subway. Oh, excelente. It's been helped out a lot. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, food is really good as far as learning vocabulary. Used a lot. Oh, I wish I did it como yo no subrayé. No, I did not. I didn't highlight any of them. I know it should be here somewhere. But it's like fruncir, fruncir, fruncir es ceño. But I had no idea what that meant for all these years. I knew what sonrisa was for the past probably even longer than that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, never knew what frown meant. So that's been something very new. I love learning food vocabulary because it helps a lot with having conversations with Spanish speakers. Because everybody talks about food, right? We always talk about food basically every single day. So it's really good to learn food vocabulary. Absolutely. Y déjame ver si podría encontrar esa palabra que se me olvidó. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. But anyway, el punto fue que yo aprendí esa palabra muy recientemente y ahora mismo estoy mirándolo cada vez que leo ese libro. I'm always singing this book. But let me look it up. Let me look it up on Google because I don't. Let me see. Fruncir. Fruncir. I also thought it was really funny because como el ceño, I thought like when I was thinking of frown in English, I'm thinking of like with the mouth like looking all droopy like that. But in Spanish, I was like, it's not the same thing. Or at least with this phrase, it's not. Porque está hablando sobre la frente, como esta parte así para indica que alguien está molestado o algo así. Pero fruncir el ceño. So that's something I do. I learned something new. So it has nothing to do with the boca. I was looking for something that was like had to do with, like your mouth. Like una sonrisa es como con la boca. Pero fruncir el ceño es desde esta parte, como esto. Esto es fruncir el ceño. So I was like, so there's not like a specific word for una palabra específica for frown. And I guess there isn't, but maybe there is. I don't know. I need to ask more people. But that's something that's really interesting. Always learning something new, even the most basic things. Jedi, this is a question for you if you're still here, or for really anybody. What is the difference between aguas frescas y jugos? Now, this es importante porque ese es otro recurso que utilizo. So I also use a lot of signs to learn Spanish. So by signs, I mean like literally, if you know go outside your door, you know you walk past a business or whatnot, drive past a business, you know different signs you see your billboards. That's also how I learn Spanish a lot. So if I go into a a Latino restaurant, then I'm always looking at signs to learn new vocabulary. So like last year for the first time, or when I was in Mexico I saw, it, but I don't remember. But recently, definitely, like last year, I've seen aguas frescas a lot. Aguas frescas or agua fresca, and it's just like a like a type of drink that you can get. Normally, I've seen limonada, jamaica, y una horchata. So I learned those three words like recently. I was like within the last year, and I don't know what the difference between aguas frescas y jugos are. Because today I went to a Mexican restaurant, I went to una taquería, y fui ahí, y yo le pregunté a la mesera, ¿qué tipo de jugos tienes? Like, what type of juices do you have? But then she said jugos. She's like, oh, you mean aguas frescas? I was like, oh, yeah. But I was trying to ask her what the difference was, but I didn't have a chance to. So now I'm trying to figure out what is the difference between aguas frescas and jugos because I'm completely lost. I really have no idea what the difference between those are. But that's a really well, that's like one useful way to learn Spanish is by looking at signs all the time. Signs everywhere you go because you'll see just a lot of different like for example in a restaurant you're going to see a lot of signs that maybe that are related to food or about tipping or telling you where you can seat where you can sit yourself. I see those a lot of different signs everywhere, or even like with food as well, with food items. Okay, Onion says I asked someone what's the verb to think, and they gave me something that wasn't pensar, and I was confused till I said pensar. They then go, I forgot what they said. Okay, it happens to me all the time. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Jedi. Jedi says agua frescas is, for example, to use natural water or orange. Pero, okay, entonces, ¿qué es un jugo? Un jugo es qué exactamente? ¿Qué es un jugo? What exactly is un jugo? And for all those who are entering right now, que están uniendo a esta video directo, let me know in the chat box here where you are from, de qué país es usted, and how long you have been learning Spanish for. ¿Por cuánto tiempo has estudiado español? And for me, that was kind of confusing too, because I was like, agua fresca. Okay, so I'm like, fresh water. But I was looking at the three options. I'm like, well, this isn't water. I'm like, this is juice, I guess. Jugos, box, orange juice, for example. Pero todavía estoy confundido, en verdad. Todavía estoy confundido. Yo entiendo que un jugo es como un jugo de naranja o un jugo de manzana, pero ¿cómo eso es diferente de Jamaica, por ejemplo? El agua fresca de Jamaica. Because for me, agua fresca is más natural. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it's like so difficult for me to comprehend. But yeah, I learned that from reading science. Agua frescas. Because they don't say jugos, they say agua frescas. At least in Mexico and Mexican restaurants I've been going to. Es hecho al momento. South Dakota. Qué excelente. El sur de Dakota. Well, I guess that makes more sense now. Un poquito más. Un chin. Un chin. Un chin más. Also, let's see. Today, Also, cuando estuve en la taquería, yo leí un letrero, unas letras que dijo, aprende inglés hasta tres veces más rápido. Oh, es lo mismo, eso es lo mismo. Ok. No, por eso te digo, porque yo leí eso en los taquerías, por eso. Porque cada vez que yo leía agua fresca es cuando yo estuviera en una taquería, por eso. Puro mexicano. Ah, un sinónimo. Ah, ok. Ok, entonces como tenemos algo parecido en inglés, por ejemplo, podemos decir algo como fresh lemonade, como limonada fresca, yo creo. Bueno, no. No sé si es igual, pero un poquito. So this is something that I read in a taqueria today too. Another sign. So this was a sign that was on, or what was written on a sign on the door going out of the taqueria, and it says "Aprende inglés hasta tres veces más rápido." So I was actually confused on hasta tres veces. I was like, wait, what exactly does that mean? So I was like super confused on what that meant. But that's kind of cool. So I took a picture of that. So I like looking at signs because I learned new vocabulary and new ways of saying things like this sentence here. Aprende inglés hasta tres veces más rápido. So I guess it's like learn English up to three times faster, I guess, but I don't know how to como interpret that into English. But I guess it's something like that. Algo así. Déjame ver otro letras. Vegas. Bienvenido, Jay. Dice esto de Vegas, estuve estudiando por 3 años. Qué excelente. Es here en México. En México siempre utilizan una palabra misma para todo. Ok. Pero en las taquerías, there's soda or Coke en México. Coca-Cola. I like the way that they say it too. Coca-Cola. Tiene sentido. And I took another picture, and I don't know really any of these words except for galleta. Let me see. And empanada. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It says la diferencia y la verdad es el embalaje y la preparación. Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let me see. Quizás sí, quizás no. Pero it's a little sign that I took a picture of in una taqueria that just explains a lot, or not explains. It has different pictures of the different sweets that they had there. So they have so they have concha, they have puerquito, they have polverone trebol, algo así. Galletas, I know that one. Oreja, churro, I know that one. Mantecada, pastel, and empanada. So that's why I take a lot of pictures of signs. because I've been learning a lot of vocabulary. Even another one. Last year, like the end of last year, I learned the word halad. What was it halad? Halad or hayar, which means to pull in Spanish. And I never knew what that meant for whatever reason. But I never knew what that was until last year. I think it's halad. Yeah, so it's halad in Spanish. So I never knew what halad meant until last year. So that was pretty interesting too. I know what push was for all these years, for many years. I knew what that push is empujar, but I never knew what that halad meant to pull until last year. And the first time that I saw that word was on a sign on the door. It said halad. So it's pretty cool. It's always like the simplest things. The simplest things like the how I learn. Stuff like that. Type of breads. Type of breads, okay. Pero es pan o es como, ¿qué es la otra palabra? No es pan, pero es como pan crudo. Pan crudo. I know how to say it in English, but I don't know how to say it in Spanish. It's funny too because I thought empanadas. I thought empanadas were always. I didn't know empanadas were sweet until probably until last year because like the empanadas. The first time I ever had an empanada was when I was in the Dominican Republic, and it had meat in it. It had like chicken, had cheese, and things like that, and salsa. But then I didn't know until last year that there are sweet empanadas. I was like, oh, so that's pretty interesting. So I tried my first ever sweet empanada last week, but that was at a Puerto Rican place or Puerto Rican restaurant. Jay says, agua también nunca es de jugo real, mayormente, pero azúcar y agua con frutas. Ok, entiendo. Agua también nunca es de jugo real. Ok, el agua fresca nunca es de jugo. Pan dulce es en México. Es Kool-Aid para mexicanos. I like that. Kiki, hola, ¿cómo estás? Taco Bell sold sweet empanadas with apples. Oh, I did not know that. I haven't been to T-Bell in a long time. Jedi breads with chocolate or mini cake, but here are in Mexico uses much use much sugar. Yeah, they look very sweet. They look incredibly sweet. So okay, this is because okay. Esto es pan. Los dulces hechos de pan. I'm trying to think of there's something else I haven't tried before. Oh, flan. Flan is another one I haven't tried before ever. Flan. Flan is what is flan made out of? Flan? I don't know how to pronounce that. Everybody keeps telling me that I need to try flan, but I've never had it before. But one day I will. Looks like parece como un pastel, pero un pastel muy cremoso. Oh, está hecho de queso. It looks like cheesecake, kind of ish. Has anybody had flan before? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Kiki, they don't sell it anymore. Yeah, I don't eat that much. Nunca he probado flan también. Pienso que eso tiene mucho leche. Mucho leche. I can't tell just by looking at it what it's made out of, or what's in it. To me, it looks like cheesecake. Okay, so so it is like cheesecake then, huh? Well, not like cheesecake, pero parece muy similar. I will try it out. I will try it out someday. Looks like it would be fun to use. Or not use, pero para preparar. RSF sin 534. How long have you been learning Spanish for? I've been learning Spanish for, well, let's see, treinta, 13. I keep mixing up 30 and 13. I have no idea why. Trece y 30. I keep mixing those up. So like last time someone asked me like how old I was like, oh, yo tengo 13 años. I'm 13 years old. I was like, oh no, that's not right. No, it's not 13. Okay. Yeah, I've been learning Spanish to see like in total. Hmm. Seis. Déjame ver. 14, 15, 6. Uno, dos. Like, como técnicamente, like 10 years technically, but it hasn't been like 10 years consistently whatsoever because most of that has been, or most of that has been school. But I would say for the last 3.5 years, I've been learning consistently, like every single day outside of school. Ah, it's jelly. Okay. And why are you learning Spanish and not other languages? So I actually am. I am learning French also. I just started learning French. But initially, I started learning Spanish just because it was an obligation in school. So that's how I initially got interested in learning Spanish. So mostly just because of school. I didn't really take any other language classes in school, like in high school, middle school. Besides, I think I took one Chinese class because that was like obligation when I was 12 years old. That was funny. I didn't like that class at all because it was like really hard. And I took one French class, I think, when I was 12 as well. I didn't like French either. But the rest of high school, I just took, like 2 years in high school, I took Spanish class. In college, I took Spanish. So it's always just been Spanish in school for the most part. But since I graduated from school, primarily been focusing on Spanish. And then last year, I started my journey with learning French. So, and I can definitely see myself learning another language in the future. Well, actually, I already have it picked out. The next language I more than likely will learn next is German. If not German, it's going to be Russian, I believe. Yeah, probably Russian. If yeah, those are my top languages that I would like to learn after French. But I don't know when that's going to be because I'm still not very far with French. So, ¿cómo se dice jelly en español? Jenna says in Mexico there are not limones for taquerías. ¿Cómo que limones? Cárcel. ¿Verdad? Did I mention resources? I've mentioned a few, but I got distracted as usual. So I haven't mentioned all of them yet. Box of lemons and is expensive. Oh, okay. Kiki, I came in late, started using Chat GDP like 3 days ago. I've thought about using that. I don't know when I will get to it, but eventually I'm going to use that and hopefully make a video out of it. But I watched I think like two videos of other language learners using it. Seems kind of cool, but I don't know if I would use it a lot. I would say because I really don't like being on my computer or my phone for like learning language. Like the least amount of least is I can't speak, and the least amount as possible. Stephen Brown, hola. Alexandre Sousa, Brazil. Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese. I wish. Vos já aprendi falar português de Brasil. You know what? That looks very much so like French. You said boa noite, and then like in French it's bon nuit, right? Bon nuit. That looks very similar to French. That's funny. Gelatina. Kiki, there's no risk. It's free. That's good. Hopefully they won't make like a paid version. Alexandre, I'm gonna butcher this because I don't speak Portuguese, but você já aprendeu falar português do Brasil? No entiendo muchísimo, pero you diré que no. Basel lemons are very expensive, like $27. I don't use lemons that much. Jedi, ¿cómo qué preparas con los limones? ¿Qué preparas? ¿Qué tipo de comida o platillos preparas con los limones? RSF. In experience learning Spanish, do you know? Oh, wait, let me go back to this one question here. I missed that one question. I tell it to make up scenarios for me. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think that would be like a really good for that. Kiki, you don't like using your computer to learn languages. How do you learn? I use languages basically any other way that's not on the computer. um, so I like to read. Actualmente estoy leyendo ese libro, La Fundación. I like that. I like singing songs to learn Spanish, reading lyrics. Actually, I don't read that many lyrics for learning Spanish, but I listen to music a lot. Having conversations with Spanish speakers. I like to speak to myself in Spanish. I don't write that much, or I haven't wrote that much this year. I always tell myself I am, then I just end up not doing it. But writing too. Déjame ver qué más. Estoy pensando qué más. Interpretando, traduciendo, so interpreting and interpreting. I kind of do that naturally, but interpreting and then translating. So interpreting would be like, I hear someone speaking Spanish, but then I try to interpret that into English. So spokenly. So someone says like, yo tengo dolor de garganta. Okay, someone said, that I have like a sore throat. Then I say, oh, I have a sore throat. So I do that too. Like, it's kind of funny. Like when someone's speaking to me in Spanish, then I in my head when I'm thinking, I interpret that into English sometimes. Or if someone is speaking English, then sometimes in my head I'm interpreting their English into Spanish. So I do that sometimes too. But I mean, I say like a lot of the ways that I learn right now is through communication, just straight having conversations. Because thankfully, I live in a state that has a lot of Spanish speakers. Buenas noches, Steven Brown, limonada. Utilizo limonada, ok. Pero nunca, no creo que nunca, en verdad. Eso, bueno, me va a dar mucha vergüenza, pero nunca había preparado o hecho no, limonada. Nunca en mi vida. Es desgraciado, yo sé. Suco de limao, torta de limao. Una torta. Don't talk to people. I need to read more. Yeah, I talk to people all the time. Well, isn't the music on the computer? Well, no. The music I listen to primarily is on my phone. I'm usually mostly just listen to it on Spotify or sometimes on YouTube, but mostly I listen to it on Spotify on my phone. So, but I'm not like actually looking at my phone. I just listen to it. So that's kind of what I mean. Oh, I've heard of for tacos, pero like solamente como pones como unas gotas de limón dentro tu taco, así. I've heard of mango languages before, but I never used it before. Mango languages. I need someone to speak in English with me. I'm running with myself alone. I hope you don't. Ojalá que no tengas el dolor de la garganta. Oh, speaking of a dictionary, I do have a dictionary right here. I like looking at the dictionary. I mean, for me, I look into my dictionary whenever I have, like right now, I don't know. Let me think of a word I don't know. What's a word I don't know? Okay, I don't know what camel is in Spanish. So I usually look up things like really quick. Okay, I don't know what camel is in Spanish, so let me look it up. Blah, 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 blah. Camel, camel, camel. Where's camel at? Or English. Camel in Espanol is camello. So I did not know that. Camello. That's pretty easy, actually, thankfully. So that's kind of how I use my dictionary, just like that. I'm like, oh, like a word pops into my head. I don't know what it is. Okay, let me look it up real quick. Boom. Camel in Spanish is camello. Yo soy de los Estados Unidos. En México utilizan muchos los limones para todo, hasta lavar la ropa. Oh, wow, ok. Qué interesante. Pero como el limón es como, okay, here's another one I don't know. Pero es como el jabón para lavar la ropa. ¿Cómo se llama esto? Porque en inglés decimos detergent, pero no tengo ni idea cuál es la palabra en español. No sé si solamente se dice jabón, ya, ok. Oh, un minuto, por favor. But yeah, did I mention why you're here, Kiki? Then I also read a lot of signs. So again, like since I live in Texas, there's a lot of places where there are Spanish signs everywhere. So every time I'm walking around, I like to take little snapshots of different signs that I'm reading or that I see, like in taquerías o lo que sea, o cualquier tipo de restaurante. Y también así es como yo aprendo. Detergent with lemons. Pero como ok, detergente, detergente, detergente o detergente, detergente, yo creo, con limones. But también check out the description box of this video because of this live stream because I have some resources that I think will be very helpful for you. So for reading, I have a dictionary, Spanish grammar, some other like starter books, and also just some regular books as well. If you would like to buy those, so definitely check those out. Check out those links in the description. So don't have to use those, but those help out the channel because I get like a little commission if you use those specific links. And then also, if you haven't yet, make sure that you download my Spanish conversation blueprint. I created that for all of you, and that is free. All you have to do is go to the link again in the description of this live stream, and you just subscribe to my email list, and then you'll receive that in your email. So that's just like a little free PDF that you can download with 5 tips for having better conversations in Spanish. Esto es muy tarde, Susan. Estás muy tarde. Pero muchas gracias por venir. Muchas gracias por unirte a esta live stream. Y ahora mismo tengo que conectar mi batería a mi computadora porque me falta la batería. Un poquito. También, si no ha suscrito o suscribirte a mi canal. Haz eso también. So you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do that as well. Suscríbete y también like this live stream as well. Dale un like o un gusto. So, suscríbete también. Si se puede ver mi luz en el fondo, pero suscríbete to the channel as well. Suscribirse, por favor. Almost at 5,000. That's pretty awesome. 5,000. Casi llegamos a 5,000 suscriptores. Wow. Nunca me imaginaría que llegáramos a este momento. Es increíble. Pero es muy peligroso utilizar limones y después salir al sol te mancha la piel. Pero te mancha la piel. ¿Cómo así? I want my very expensive lemons. No sé. En verdad, nunca veo los precios de los limones, para decir la verdad. Sí, te mancha la piel, el limón. Pero ¿cómo que se te mancha? ¿Cómo se daña? Se daña la piel. Ok, exactamente. Como estoy un poco confundido. Te mancha la piel como el detergente. Mancha negrita. ¿Y como que te pica o te duele también? ¿Como te duele esta mancha? ¿O solamente es una mancha que no causa muchos problemas? I've never heard of that before. Ok, no causa mucho daño entonces. No causa mucho daño. Y déjame decir los otros recursos. Yeah, so I already said reading. I said reading, so I like to read books. I always say that I think everybody should read books, just because I'm sure a lot of people like to read comments, like in Twitter or on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or something like that. But those are also really good resources. I like to go, or like TikTok is really good for like reading the comments. I like to read like anything that like a native speaker is using for is using for commenting and things like that. So on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, I like to read those because I find different ways of saying things just by looking at different people's accounts like that. See if I can find one right now. Ok, el alfa. La cuenta de el alfa. But also, it's not the best to read comments because, like, if you read comments, of course, like, well, comments of like some Spanish speakers, because sometimes it's como muy cortado. Because when we text, we don't always speak we don't always write with like como frases completas, pero es más cortada. Like this one person just wrote on this one TikTok, Dios mío, yo nunca le he puesto la mano a uno a cargo de eso, pero estoy seguro que como él está agarrando ese guía, no he la vuelta, me bajo enseguida. I have no idea what that means. Not really. But I like reading comments. Pero eso fue un TikTok de el Alfa. Te amo, mi mayor deseo es conocerte. Entonces, muchos comentarios, muchos comentarios. And then learning from food, of course. If you seen any of my like my newer posts, either on Instagram or on YouTube, then you maybe have seen some of the pictures I've been sharing. So I've been sharing a lot of pictures of food porque yo había ido a un montón de taquerías y restaurantes latinos. So I've been going to a lot of Latino restaurants this year and been learning a lot of new vocabulario, a lot of new vocabulary. So that's another way. So I mean that I guess that in that way I've been learning Spanish through those conversations, so conversation, talking with waitresses and waiters, but then also just by reading menus, reading a lot of menus, and of course signs and stuff like that when I go to these taquerias. So I've been making sure that every time that I order something, that I write down the name of the dish that I'm eating, write down the name. I write down also what are the ingredients as well. Entonces, como hoy yo pide un platillo que se llama plato Jalisco. So plato Jalisco basically is just like bistec con cebolla, con frijoles completos y lechuga, tomate. And then I also ordered two tacos, un taco de asada y un taco de barbacoa. But the funny thing is, I didn't know what barbacoa was. I don't think until this year. No, maybe like the end of last year. Actually, no, I think this year. I didn't even know what barbacoa was until I think, yeah, I would say like the end of last year. I didn't know what barbacoa was until the end of last year. And then let's see, un plato de Jalisco. I knew that like Jalisco is a state, but I didn't know like there was a name of an actual dish that was called como un plato Jalisco. Oh, Jalisciense. Oh, Jalisciense. Jalisciense también es un platillo mexicano que yo había probado. So I've been learning a lot of new Spanish vocabulary just by going to different restaurants and just paying attention to a lot of the to everything that I'm eating and writing down a lot of the names. Y también, ¿qué más que yo probé? También horchata. Horchata, los aguas frescas, like I just talked about earlier, aguas frescas como horchata, jamaica y limonada. También como yo había probado por la primera vez un taco de tripas. Tripas is like pork, pero no sé qué tipo de cerdo es las tripas. I've had hidalgo por la primera vez, hígado, un taco de hígado, and that's the pork liver, I believe, pork liver. So I had that for the first time. I've had pork tongue for the first time. That was an interesting taste. So un taco de lengua. I've been trying a lot of different foods. Or is it beef? Is it beef or pork? Or maybe it's beef tongue and not pork tongue. And déjame ver. Lengua de taco. O taco de lengua. Okay, no, it's beef. It's beef. Pero, ok, Gerard, déjame saber. ¿Se puede preparar la lengua de un cerdo también? ¿O solamente es de carne asada? Oh, no. I always forget what beef is in Spanish. Con carne molida. Okay, cerdo es puerco. Tripa is the gut of the pork. Ah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Pero también yo había oído que deberías limpiarlo bien antes de comerlo. Like, you should be cleaning these a lot. So, yeah. for I think obvious reasons. Okay, RSAF, I have a question. When a foreigner tries to speak English, we sound funny or goofy for the native speaker, or maybe not. I don't know. English isn't my mother tongue. I'm curious. I mean, no. I mean, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say goofy. I would say funny, pero como gracioso, pero no en una forma malo. Como no lo tomas mal, but it's like it's different. Like I have many friends who are not who speak English, but English is not their native tongue, and they have very a wide range of accents, right? Like I have friends who are from Egypt. I have friends who are from many different countries in Africa, and friends who are from Spanish speaking countries. Un minuto. Todavía estoy luchando en contra de este tos. Friends from India, they all have accents and things like that. Well, not all of them. Some do have accents, but it's definitely like it doesn't sound like goofy or como no sound. I don't know what goofy is in Spanish. Pero lo que yo diría es que es como, o como se nota su acento, como yo sé que esta persona no es de los Estados Unidos o quizás no, que español o inglés no es su idioma nativo, como eso se puede, se puede darse cuenta inmediatamente, pero no es como muy raro, pero es más como, yo no conozco este acento, yo no conozco su idioma. Por esa razón suena así, pero no es como en una forma de burlarle o algo así, no. Es la misma cosa que ahora mismo estoy hablando español, es casi igual. Como obviamente sabes que o se nota que yo no soy nativo, que español no es mi idioma nativo y obviamente yo cometo muchos errores siempre con cada frase. Mi pronunciación no es la mejor, pero es como así. Es como, yo entiendo que esta persona está aprendiendo inglés y quizás no se recuerde de cada palabra que quisiera decir, pero está bien, como no hay problema. But that's what I would say. I definitely wouldn't say like it sounds like funny or really goofy, but I would say different. Just sounds different. Just like any other language would sound different from another language if it's not your native language. Tripa is the gut of the pork. Aquí en México, come la cabeza de porco. Ay, Dios mío. En Tabasco, México, se come la cabeza de puerco. Nunca me atrevería a comer la cabeza de un puerco. Eso no, yo no creo. Tiene que esconderla en el platillo y no me dice el nombre de la carne. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do that. ¿Y tú, Jedi, has probado la cabeza de un puerco? No podría. Kiki, no importa si hagas errores. Sí, yo intento como decirme eso, pero es muy difícil. Hasta los ojos de puerco. Ay, Dios mío. No puedo con esto. Se come. Nunca has probado, pero nunca has probado. No me gusta ver la cara de un animal, yo tampoco. Bueno, yo no me gusta ver la cara de un animal como cocida específicamente. Está bien el animal está vivo, pero no se fan de eso. Pero aparte de, bueno, el pescado, las peces no tienen cabeza necesariamente. Bueno, pero normalmente yo veo el pescado por completo. Ah, no como cerdo. A veces yo como cerdo, pero no siempre. Like using the face of a fish. I've gotten used to seeing the face of fish. But like seeing it on the plate, I don't necessarily like that much. Pero sí sé cómo hace, ay Dios mío, los testículos de toro. En verdad, wow. Bull testicles. Really? Jedi. ¿Quién? ¿Quién hace eso? Por favor, ¿quién inventó esa idea para comer los testículos de un tero? Eso no tiene sentido. Eso suena como un chiste entre hombres. Ah, como ¿cómo es la palabra? No. Déjame ver. Déjame buscar esa palabra. I need to look up what this word is. It's like Tibet in Spanish. Tibet. Apostar. Como te ha puesto comer ese testículo de un toro por 50 pesos o algo así. Qué loco, wow. Kiki, no, I want to be reminded that it was alive. Remember people used to say roast beef sandwiches were made from cow parts. I don't really like roast beef. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't really like roast beef like that. I really don't care for roast beef. Pero también se come, yo sé que muchos países de habla hispana se comen, it tastes like chicken. ¿Cómo se come? Se come los conejos. Los conejos también. In the parties. Oh, corned beef. Okay. They said it tastes like chicken. I'm sure. I'm sure como cada cosa sabe como pollo. Cada cosa sabe como pollo. Ah, ok. Sí, se come los conejos. I've seen that before I got on YouTube. It was funny. I was like, porque en los Estados Unidos como los conejos más como, qué lindo conejo. Y como son también como hay muchas personas acá en los Estados Unidos que tienen conejos conejos para mascotas. Entonces yo crecí así con ese tipo de idea, ese tipo de mentalidad. Entonces como para ver a alguien que comieron conejos como, qué raro. Se le come bien ricos. Yeah, I don't know. Do people eat rabbits in the US like that? I have no idea. Has anybody eaten a rabbit before? Un conejo. Hasta las tortugas. I've heard that before. I've heard like turtles. People eating turtles. I've never had a turtle before. Really? Oh, people don't south eat oh, people don't south eat. Wait, huh? No come con tan en defensa. Ah, y sí, yo sé que muchas personas habían comido tortugas, pero yo no, nunca había probado. I think I would eat a turtle, I think. That sounds kind of strange. Can't say that out loud. No, I'll eat the turtle. Un parte de una parte de una tortuga. Yo probaría. Oh yeah, deer is pretty. I mean, deer is really normal. I would say deer is pretty normal. Squirrel. I don't know anybody who's squirrel. Yeah, never eaten a rabbit before though. Deer meat's really good. I've had deer. Como en el norte de los Estados Unidos se come mucho la cierva. Wait, la cierva is deer? Cierva? Porque en el norte se come mucho la cierva. Porque hay un la palabra. Hay una gran cantidad. Hay una gran cantidad de la sierva. Pigeons I have no, I've never eaten pigeons either. Sí, hay un montón de ciervos por todos lados, en verdad. I might have to try rabbit someday. Turtle sabe muy rico. RCF, are you have in mind to travel to Dominican Republic? Like your accent, it sounds like Dominican. Oh, you're from Dominican Republic? Que lo que eres dominicano. O dominicano, no sé. Okay, excelente. Bueno, sí, yo había ido 2 veces, en verdad. En 2021, yo fui a RD 2 veces. En mi primer viaje, yo fui a Santo Domingo. En mi segundo viaje, yo fui a Santo Domingo y Samaná. Y me encantó muchísimo la belleza de Samaná y la tranquilidad, la gente. Fue como un pueblo muy chiquito. Y parece que se puede conocer cada persona en Samaná, como una familia muy grande. Pero me encanta RD. También yo pienso en la República Dominicana. Y también yo tengo ganas de mudarme ahí, pero no estoy seguro. Pero definitivamente yo tengo que regresar ahí. Porque yo extraño a la gente ahí, yo extraño la comida, la cultura, el calor. Me encanta todo de RD. Bueno, casi todo, casi todo. Ah, Sierra is deer. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. Sí, claro que sí. Como muchos animales en los Estados Unidos tienen que tener una licencia para matarlos con una arma por deporte. No es como que se puede sacar tu arma como de cualquier momento y sale afuera y matar un animal. No, no es así. Como hasta pescado tienes que comprar una licencia, como una tarjeta, lo que sea, de un lugar para ser licenciado para pescar también. Yo creo que en la mayoría de los estados tienes que pagar para pescar. O se pueden darle un multo por no haber pescado con una licencia. Yeah. Como tiene muchas restricciones. Hay muchas restricciones. Or else, like, como no van a quedar, una cantidad grande del pescado. Oh, cocodrillo. Oh, okay. You know what? I've had no. I haven't had crocodile. I've had gator one time. Gator is actually really good, but it was only once. But it was like Como sabe, sabe como pollo. Sabe como pollo. I don't eat red meat. I love eating red meat. Fish, turkey, and chicken. You didn't know that you need a license to fish? I don't. I would assume they have that. They have that restriction in almost every country, or not every country, in every state. Pero sí, tiene que tener una licencia. I mean, it's un no tiene que, pero I mean, if you're gonna, it's a risk. So I mean, como se puede se puede ahora 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 se puede ahorrar $200, $200. You know, you could save $200 if sí, no sé, contenerte, no, no como contener, ¿cuál es la palabra? Detener. No, no es como detenido, pero solamente como te da una multa de, no sé, que creo que depende de la ciudad y del estado, pero una multa de, más que $100 por pescando sin una licencia. Pero no, it's not petty because it's como es la ley, because it's a law. So it's like it's actually enforced. La misma cosa cuando estás sacando, si vas a pescar y vas a perdóname, y vas a como vas a pescar y vas a sostener el pescado y tomar el pescado del lago, del río, a tu casa, lo que sea, y prepararlo. Eso también hay límites de la proporción de pescado que estás sacando de un lago también. Yeah, so I mean, I mean, I don't even know that much, but I mean, a lot of times, what they have a lot of those restrictions. They have those restrictions in place, so you can have enough fish. Like, imagine if you just had if every single person could take as many fish as they want, then you wouldn't have like really any fish left. Basically, I mean that's like one like un ejemplo, una de las razones por las cuales. Pero también, obviamente, para ganar dinero, because they can find a lot of people. Can't buy guns for civil, es muy complicado conseguir de forma legal. O para comprar una arma en México, bueno, en los Estados Unidos, si ya no sepas, bueno. Depende del lugar, es bastante fácil para, para conseguir, para comprar uno. Como los requisitos, no creo que los requisitos son muy restringidos o estrictos. Pero también depende de la arma. No se puede, sí, aquí se puede comprar. Se puede comprar las armas aquí. Una mujer de China me dijo que todos los americanos tienen armas. Sí, parece así. Legalmente o no legalmente. Sí, es una locura, en verdad, es una locura. But yeah, I'll definitely say, Kiki, like, um, este, Oh, damn it, man. Oh, let me mention the other resources. Perdóname. Yeah, it's like this is one of the reasons why I didn't. Una de las razones por las cuales I didn't have a live stream last week because I was like coughing way too much. So I didn't want to cough all the way through a live stream. And then yeah, last year I used a lot of iTalki. This year I've been using iTalki because my priorities kind of have shifted a little bit. But last year I used a lot of iTalki and helped out a lot. But yeah, I think like the amount of resources definitely have decreased for me as I have become more advanced. I've learned a lot more. Because like for me, like now what I do is mostly just I just listen to a lot of Spanish and talk to myself in Spanish, talk to other Spanish speakers. So like now it's all just communication based for the most part for how I learn, and then taking notes, things like that. Like I was saying before, like if I go to a restaurant, I write down I write down, everything that that I eat. Like today, yo probé or yo comp. Like today, I bought el platillo Jalisco, so that'll just be steak, cebolla, frijoles, y arroz. So like every time I go to a restaurant now, I write down the plate name and I write down all the ingredients of or all the ingredients that are in that plate. Then I also write down what drinks I'm drinking as well. Como hoy yo probé por la primera vez, yo bebí por la primera vez una mezcla de aguas frescas, de limonada y también de Jamaica. So that's also I've been learning a lot this year, a lot of new food vocabulary just by going to restaurants and writing down. I don't just write them down, but also I remember a lot of the vocabulary I remember by having conversations, asking them over, asking my waitresses, oh, what did you say? Oh, what was the name of that dish you just said? So that's how I've been like learning a lot this year. And it's of course through conversation, learning a lot through music, learning a lot through dance. Oh, I didn't mention that one. Yeah, dancing is a really good way to learn new vocabulary words, and that's different from listening to music. It's one thing to listen to music; it's another thing to dance because there's a lot of vocabulary outside of just music. Like just like listening to music, right? Because I listen to music, you probably think of okay, instruments or maybe I'm thinking about just like lyrics. But when you're dancing, there are a lot of movements. So I've been learning a lot of movements by dancing to Latin music. So that's been really fun as well. Por ejemplo, like anteriormente, it was a little bit difficult. Well, no, still very difficult, but especially when I first started dancing last year, I didn't know any vocabulary that was related to really dancing and stuff like that at all. But now with my dance partners, I can kind of explain to them like what they need to do if they're confused or something like that. So, like for example, I learned the word "bota." "Bota" is used a lot. La bota is used a lot in many different sentences in many different contexts, right? But una vuelta in dancing is un giro. So I also learned what giro was. Un giro is just like a turn. Like como yo tomo la manita de una mujer y la giro. Le de or le da una vuelta. So I've been learning a lot of vocabulary words from dancing as well. Yeah, como eso, suelta la mano, agarra la mano, so like release the hand, grab the hand, things like that. Whole bunch of vocabulary. Or a U-turn. Yeah, I guess it's U-turn. Yeah, U-turn or it's yeah, turn. Pero como si, como en mi carro, como, porque yo tengo a veces mi teléfono en español, tenemos como, if you have like a GPS, it will say da vuelta en U, da vuelta en U. So that one's kind of, it's like a really weird phrase. Da vuelta en U. I think it's something like that. Da vuelta en U. Like if you have a GPS, like you'll see that a lot, and that just like means like do a U-turn. Yeah, like the first time I saw that, I was super confused. I'm like, da vuelta en U. It's en U. It's como sumamente confuso. Así le dice chaval. Okay. En Kiki, como yo usé Erota como hace años, hace 2 años. I don't use Hello Talk that much anymore because I'm always talking to Spanish speakers, and it'll be kind of difficult for me to find time to have conversation with a language exchange partner. But like 2 years ago, I used it a lot. Now, really, the only time I use Hello Talk is if I have a question and I don't want to go on like the internet for it. Because like I know like Hello Talk, if I ask a question, I'll get an answer really quick from a lot of Spanish speakers. So that's why I like using Hello Talk. If I get confused on something, like like I'll ask a question on Hello Talk, like I'll post something like, ¿cuál es la diferencia entre giro y una vuelta? And then I just like receive a whole bunch of comments like really fast. So that's why like one like reason why I like to use Hello Talk. But like that, I don't usually even do that many times. And now I just like ask my friends. But if I'm not around them, then sometimes I might use Hello Talk just for that. Something simple as that. um, yeah, the other one is, I mean, I did used to have, ¿cómo se llama? La otra. Um, Tandem. I tried Tandem, but same thing. As I think downloaded it last year for the first time, and just trying to find time. I was just like, I didn't even want to use it. But now I think it's kind of cool. Like with Hello Talk and Tandem, they now have like more group style, like more groups that you can join. Like I know in Hello Talk, you can join like an actual like live conversation, like where there's like a group of people who are having conversations. You can like go in there and like listen and things like that. So I know like that's kind of new. I don't know how new, like probably like over a year or something like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I know. I feel like I had to cancel my Tandem too. 'Cause I mostly use Hello Talk. I'll probably use Hello Talk more over Tandem. 'Cause I've been more active in Hello Talk, and I got like a lot more posts there. Una bota completa. But yeah, even like this year, Netflix. I haven't really watched Netflix that much. I haven't watched any shows this year at all. I've just been focusing on other things. Pero como las series son buenas. TV shows are great. Movies. I haven't watched a movie this year either yet. And another one is Lingo Pie. I know that one is pretty. I know that one is like a new resource. That one is they call it like I guess like it's supposed to like be like the Netflix for like language learners or whatnot. So it's just like a platform where they have just like all foreign language type of shows and things like that. I haven't used it yet, but the first week is free from what I remember. And then used a lot of YouTube, but like I understand why, like why, or I understand why now. like language learner, would want to use Netflix instead of watching YouTube. Like on YouTube, like it's hard to find sometimes just videos where it's just like continuous talking. Like you can find conversations like that, but it's kind of nice to be able to like watch a TV show or a movie, because then you just have just constant communication in you're watching like a story build up and things like that. Versus YouTube is kind of like individual videos sometimes. Or you can find series on YouTube as well, but it's kind of a difference. And Netflix is just amazing. Got an amazing show on Netflix. I need to start watching La Casa de Papel. I'm only on season like 2, I think. I haven't watched La Casa de Papel at all this year. It's almost April. I haven't watched it at all. But I should be, because yo quiero mejorar mi acento español, because that's something that I would love to speak more like a Spanish, like a Spaniard, like a Spanish speaker from Spain. What Kiki? What is the new show? I know they have a decent amount of Spanish shows too, like Spanish from Spain. Tío y chicos. Oh, those are good. I didn't mention those either. At ASAFA, in my case, I use a lot of shadowing, reading out loud, talking to myself. Regardless, I'm an introvert person that talk to people. Just almost made up myself a heart attack. That strategy are pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm pretty introverted too. So that's why like I love to read. I like to speak to I'm always speaking to myself in Spanish. I'm always speaking to myself in Spanish. Yeah, reading Spanish is really good. Like to do that as well. Reading out loud is really good. Love reading out loud. Love reading. But I've gotten used to speaking to Spanish speakers now. Muchas gracias por la super sticker, Laches. I don't know if I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you very much for that. $3. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Qué excelente. Una donación. Muchas gracias. Because even though I'm still, quite introverted, I still have conversations. Even though it's still very challenging for me, I still do it. Yeah, the house is paper. That's funny. They have like tío, they have tío, they have tronco. Tronco también es como un amigo. Tronco. Me iliada parda. That's a phrase that they use. I don't know what it means exactly. Oh no, I do know what it means. It means like you messed up, como te equivocaste. Liado parda. And it's really weird the way that they pronounce it. Like I heard it a few times, but I had no idea how to spell it, and I had no idea how to, or what words were in this phrase. Like Iliada parda. Wait, I think I'll look it up. Iliada parda. Yeah, I'm like right now. Even I'm spelling it wrong. I know how to say it, kind of, but I forgot how to spell it. Iliada parda. Como que me equivoqué, o como yo hice un desastre. Yep, no, I forgot. Se me olvidó. Oh no, here it is. Yeah, okay. La he liado parda. It just sounds very Spanish. Pasta is money. I know that. Yeah, tronco es como amigo, como manito. Yeah, truco is de España. I'm introverted, but not online. Yo también. Actually, no. I'm still very introverted online. Like for me, it's really difficult to have to speak Spanish on Instagram. Like I've been trying to force myself to speak Spanish on my Instagram account, like on stories and stuff like that. But for me, that's very difficult because I'm not used to, of course, I can speak English on my Instagram stories, but speaking Spanish for me on my Instagram story is very difficult, very very difficult. I don't really like it. Pero sí, tronco es un amigo. Tronco. La pasta. También como, I guess it's not really a Spanish word, but the first time I heard it was from a Spaniard, and it's como las malas rachas. Malas rachas. Yeah, because like the words are very different. They definitely have some different type of words there. Like como si quiera como pensar en las ciudades como o partes de España, como Madrid y I forgot what's Sevilla y qué más. Tenemos Sevilla, Madrid. It's one like with an L. Let me look it up right now. Partes de España. Ok, aquí estamos. I love seeing these words. So tenemos Andalucía en el sur de España, Extremadura, Murcia, Castilla-La Mancha. What kind of name is that? Castilla-León, Madrid, Aragón, Cataluña, Andorra, Navarra, Galicia, Asturias, Cantabria, es Euskadi, y yeah, it's like those. Yeah, those names are like very very different. Y La Rioja. Barcelona, Andalusia, Valencia. Yeah, I love the names. I want to get the Spanish accent down. Sounds really cool. It's just different. It's different. Sí, es diferente porque tenemos que cambiar el ceceo. Pero también alguien me explicó que solamente se utilizan el ceceo bueno, no en toda España, pero solamente en unas partes, pero no por todos lados en España. LASF, my grandfather was from Spain. The way they speak is fancy, in my opinion. Definitivamente. Sí, hay un país, o hay un país en África, o en África hay un país que habla español. Sí, el sur de África y se llama Guinea, Guinea Guinea Ecuatorial. También algo muy interesante. Yo conocí una muchacha de. I met a woman from. Where's she from? Uh, where's she from? She is from. She's from Angola. So she's from Angola. También en Angola, en África, su idioma oficial es portugués. Sí, Mozambique speaks Portuguese. So yeah, I was like, ¿cómo, eh? Porque ella estaba hablando conmigo en español, pero no me di cuenta que ella era de Angola. Pero ella estaba hablando inglés, portugués y español a la vez. So that was pretty awesome. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Súper interesante. Sí, súper interesante. Like, wow. I'm like, ¿de dónde eres otra vez? ¿De dónde eres? Guinea-Bissau speak Portuguese. They have a Portuguese Creole. And then, and of course, I know there's many, of course, países en África que se hable francés. And that's why it's like super interesting to me. I was like, because I was like, I'm learning French and things like that, learning French, and then I learned this one word. It's like, cote. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm like, wait, cote. I'm like, isn't that like a name of an African country? I'm like, oh, Cote d'Ivoire. I can't pronounce that word. Cote de Bois. I don't know how to pronounce that in French properly, but I was like, wait, I've seen this word before. I'm like, that's an African country. Cote de Bois. Because I think Bois is that no, Bois. Is that like the sea? What's the sea in French? I forgot. Not bad. What's it the same thing? Bois in French. Is it bad? Okay, yeah. So boire. So it has the word boire in it, which means like see something in French, which is bad in Espanol. Sí, pero en francés. Oh, yeah, sí. Yeah, mucha historia de España. En España, in Philippines. In Philippines. I don't know how to say it in Spanish. In the Philippines. There's actually a movie, or there was a movie on Netflix that was all about the Spanish in the Philippines too. I watched. That was pretty interesting. Ivory Coast. It means I want to know what the actual like translation is because water means cold means I don't know. I just know wa means to see. See Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Africa has three countries with Guinea. Yeah. No, your second is Ivory Coast, but I meant like I'm talking about in French. In French, I mean. From French to English específicamente. Es lo que estoy tratando de traducir. Oh, wait, really? That means ivory? That's really confusing. Perosco del Bois. So I guess the D and the L is confusing me, but I don't know. I don't speak French. But what does the L mean? Wait, is that it? Am I reading this incorrectly? Is that an I? The Oh, that's an L. Hay una leyenda urbana que hubo viajero de tiempo que viajó en el tiempo desde la Ciudad de México a Filipinas. ¿Qué tipo? Hey man, tengo una pregunta. How do you do when you have to translate something to Spanish when it's quite difficult for me to translate things to my family? Like, I basically donde no tengo la palabra. I don't know how to translate. Okay, entonces estás intentando traducir de español al inglés o al revés. De español a de inglés a español. Because if that is the case, then I really don't know. Porque tú sabes que como los idiomas no son iguales. Like porque por ejemplo, para mí, like for me, like most of the Spanish that I do know, I've learned from Spanish speakers in Spanish. So I actually don't know how to interpret a lot of things from English to Spanish. Yeah, like for me, I don't know how to interpret a lot of things from Spanish to English because I've learned it in Spanish, but just saying it in English, it's hard for me. So I actually don't know how to explain a lot of things, honestly. Um, como el único consejo que te podría compartir es que tienes que aprender más de inglés, básicamente, para que se puede comparar los idiomas mejor, básicamente. Sí, o sea, tienes que aprender mucho. Por ejemplo, ok, te voy a poner un ejemplo. Las diferencias en español entre amor, gustar, querer y caer. Ese tipo de vocabulario no tengo ni idea cómo explicar en inglés a mis amigos. Like for me, that's very hard for me to actually como transmitir este mensaje al inglés porque no tenemos estos niveles del amor y cariño y relaciones. Porque en inglés es más simple, como solamente cómo se puede amar a cada una persona, a cualquier cosa. Tenemos amar y gustar y también yo creo que estamos un poco confundidos en el sentido de qué es amor y qué es gustar, pero en español como es más distinto, a más niveles de estas relaciones, pero en inglés no es muy diferente, es muy diferente. Entonces, en ese sentido, no tengo ni idea cómo explicarlo en inglés, en verdad. Entonces, como tienes que aprender más sobre el otro idioma, yo tengo que, por ejemplo, aprender más sobre español para que yo tenga más información y más definiciones, más explicaciones de esos verbos de gustar, amar y cuándo se puede utilizar cada uno. Y entonces podría utilizar toda esta información para transmitirla en inglés. Pero sin, pero sin esta educación, no tengo ni idea cómo explicarlo en inglés. Pero básicamente, como Kiki acabo de mencionar, no es necesariamente como traduciendo o interpretando cada letra o cada palabra, pero es más como el mensaje de esta frase. ¿Qué significa esta frase? No es como que qué significa cada palabra, pero el mensaje que esta frase está transmitiendo, básicamente. ¿Qué decimos en inglés? Una frase en los Estados Unidos que utilizamos muchísimo. Como, ok, like break a leg. Break a leg es como que en español diría básicamente que tengas buena suerte. Pero no sé, en español es igual, como los hispanohablantes van a decir, rompe tu pierna para decir a alguien que tenga buena suerte. Quizás solamente digas buena suerte y no rompe tu pierna, ¿me entiendes? Entonces tiene que transmitir el mensaje de la frase, en este caso, como no te vas a decir, por favor, rompe tu pierna, pero no se rompe tu pierna como like break your leg, pero te voy a decir que tenga buena suerte o algo así, muy simple así. Pero ese mensaje que es lo más importante para comparar los idiomas, no simplemente como Kiki mencionó, interpretando cada palabra. Sí me entiende, no sé. A veces yo hablo sin dirección, pero I mean that's kind of what I have to say. You just gonna have to like learn a lot more of like that phrase and of different phrases in different in your target language, and then know how to compare and contrast your target language and your native language for you to be able to like make sense of what they both mean in both languages. So it's really confusing. Pero por esa razón, para ser intérprete es muy difícil. Por esa razón tenemos clases de interpretación, porque es una habilidad, no es algo que como que, ok, ahora mismo yo tengo más conocimiento de español, entonces yo podría ser intérprete. No es así, porque es una habilidad. Yo tengo que saber cómo transmitir mensajes entre los idiomas. Tenemos certificaciones, tenemos certificaciones de interpretación en los Estados Unidos por esa razón, porque no quieren que cualquier persona se pueda interpretar por cada uno, porque el mensaje se puede perder entre los idiomas si no sabes qué significa esta frase en el otro idioma y cosas así. Otras razones también. But like that's a big reason because it's like interpreting between languages. It's like a skill, and it's not just something anybody can do just because like you're bilingual or whatever the case may be. Because it's really easy to like lose what a phrase means if you go to a different language. Like really easy, and it's super confusing. Like for that reason, for me, if another good example is if I listen to anything in Spanish. I'm talking to my Spanish speaking friend. I hear them in Spanish. I know how to respond to them in Spanish, but can I actually interpret everything that they're saying into English? No. Like most of the time, every time I try to do that, I'm like, wait, I have no idea how to say this in English. That happens all the time. If I put on the radio, if I put on a song, if I listen to anybody speaking Spanish right now, even on YouTube, I listen to them. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to say exactly what they just said in English. For me, most of the time, like 98% of the time, I have no idea how to do that because it's just the difference in the languages, and you have to like really learn what the difference is. But basically, that's a very long-winded answer. I'm just saying you have to learn more. So, lo siento. No tengo muchos trucos para esto. I don't have a lot of tips for that. Pero Kiki, you have to beat that with a stick. That's funny. Es un buen trato. I like that one. That's funny. And I guess another good one would be, como en México. En México se dice como que... Sí, de nada. Como en inglés, no, en México, por ejemplo, se dice aguas, right? Aguas en español es like waters. Waters. Eso es como la primera que se me viene a la mente. Okay, aguas means water, pero en México, aguas actually means ten cuidado or watch out in English. But if I say, aguas in in English, let's say I just shout that out in English, if I'm in a crowd of people, they're gonna be like, why is this guy saying water for? Aguas, como estoy vendiendo agua. Pero en México, si yo digo aguas, eso significa, ten cuidado, como quizás algo va a caer o algo así, o ten cuidado con algo. ¿Me entiendes? That's another good. I love using that example because it's really cool. I like saying that word a lot. Okay, nos quedamos 10 minutos más. So we're gonna go up to 2 horas y 15 minutos. So we have about 10 minutes more of this live stream. y antes de que salgo, porque me tengo que ir. So, have about 10 more minutes here of this live stream. So, ha sido súper divertido, muy divertido. Como de siempre, me encanta tener esos live streams. Entonces, if you have not yet, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and like this live stream as well. Siempre dices eso, Jedi. Siempre dices no. Mala leche, ok. Mala leche es de España, ¿verdad, Sean? Mala leche. I don't know, like from the Dominican Republic is como un pique, como me da un pique. Jugos frescos. Y también, no te olvides, don't forget to check out the links in the description box as well for different resources that you can purchase. Recursos que se puede pagar y recibir. But not todos. You have some. There's some, or mostly primarily one free resource. My Spanish conversation blueprint. RSAF, ¿se puede explicar qué es un pique? I have no idea what is a pique, but I know como un pique is like it's like when it's like if something makes you very angry or if like someone makes you really angry. It's something. It's una frase dominicana, something that they would say there. But I have no idea like what the origin of that word is, or like the history behind that phrase. And that's why it makes it very hard for me to actually explain it in English. So that's another good example. I know what it means. I have no idea how to explain it, or why they say it that way, or why they use that phrase. Se como taco de dogs. Hey. Yeah, so that's like really angry. So thank you, NASFA. So that's what I like when we have like different Spanish speakers from various countries in these live streams. Is great. So big is when someone gets you really angry. Yeah. Como muy furioso. So no es like no es like no es como me molesta, pero me da un pique. So it's más fuerte. It's like muy fuerte. It's like very strong. So like from what I've heard, like you wouldn't. Yeah, it's something that you don't really say unless like you're just like pissed. So it's a very strong word, or phrase rather. En la Ciudad de México se comen dogs, right? De verdad. Ah, ok, perfecto. So yeah, es más fuerte. So you dance Tierra Cliente with your shirt again. ¿Qué es Tierra Cliente? Es una canción. No he parado tanto recientemente. Those videos are hard to make because I have to think of like something to dance, like a specific un movimiento específico para utilizar. Porque yo no deseo bailar el mismo paso cada vez. Oh, I've never heard that before. Me da un pique que se haya ido sin mí. Que se haya ido sin mí. RSF, tienes que explicar eso para mí porque yo no entiendo. Tierra Caliente looks African American Holy Ghost dancing. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I've been saying actually a lot. I've been saying a lot that like the way that Mexicans dance is exactly the way that Black folks dance in like the U.S. I mean, like basically exactly the same. they do the same stuff, like stomp like that. It's hilarious. Los Tigres del Norte. Sí, yo ya había escuchado de eso. I get really confused with Mexican dances and music, like the genres and the names. Like I don't really know any. I know some of the genres, but it's super confusing to me. Como just like dancing to like cumbia or dancing to cumbia or dancing to banda. Yeah, it's like very similar, just like the regular like black folk dance, because it's like you do like the one simple step, just side to side like that. That's one, and then the other one is where they're just like stomping on the ground. Yeah, I love it. Bueno, no te puedo. Sí, yo sé que es una guagua. Sí, yo sé, ya lo sé. Es un autobús. Los Tucanes de Tijuana. See, I don't know if it's like I would have to look what Tierra Caliente is because I have no idea what it is. But I mean, I've seen stomping with cumbia and I've seen stomping with banda también. Yeah, but I have no idea what it's called. Tierra Caliente. That's kind of cool. See, I have to learn a lot more. I'm really confused. I don't know what the names are, but I see it all the time. Viviendo en Texas. So cumbia, from what I've heard, is that people aren't exactly sure. I mean, I haven't asked too many Spanish speakers this question. De donde vino cumbia? I've heard one of those from one person I've asked. I've heard that it could be from maybe like Venezuela or Colombia. I mean, Colombia is very popular as far as a lot of people do cumbia there. There's a lot of cumbia songs from there. But as far as the origin, I've heard that it's kind of up in the air, but it's very popular there. But of course, también hay diferentes tipos de otros tipos de cumbia, obviamente. Como cumbia quizás de México es un poco diferente de la cumbia en Colombia y también mucho más en Texas, because Texas is it's like a mixture of different cultures and things like that. So like the cumbia could be even different here, or different than like Mexican the cumbia in Mexico. I didn't know that, but Wawa has some other meaning. It give me like kid or child. Oh, no sabía eso. Yo sé que Cajarito es un niño también en la República Dominicana. Un Cajarito. Ok, R y S y F. ¿Qué significa? Ok, yo entiendo, me da un pique, pero ¿qué significa la segunda parte? Me da un pique que se haya ido sin mí. ¿Qué significa esta parte? Que se haya ido sin mí. No, no entiendo esta parte. Cipote, no, I have no idea what that means. Claro que sí. Español es súper diferente en cada país. And that's the crazy part too. It's not just like a little bit different. I mean, Spanish is very different within different or amongst the Spanish speaking countries. They're not like a little bit different. They're very different. See, I see. Yes, yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who speak Arabic, and yeah, they have told me the same thing. Es un árbol maya. Jedi, ¿cómo se? Cipote es un árbol maya. Ah, no sabía. Kid or stupid. En España yo creo. Seguro te refieres a España, una palabra español, española. He goes outside with me, without me. Okay. Okay. Okay, yo pensé que como, como la segunda parte fue algo diferente completamente, pero no. Okay, significa lo que pareciera. Okay. Que sea, que sea, que haya ido sin mí. Okay, entiendo. Muchas gracias por esa explicación. That's a small plant. Qué excelente. All right, estamos cerrando la noche, o la tarde, o la mañana. Con esta live stream, so we have gotten to the end of this live stream. 2 horas y 16 minutos. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes for joining me on this live stream. This is really fun. I like having these conversations. Yeah, we definitely talk more about resources because we really talked about a few of them. So yeah, but I definitely want to hear more about like resources that y'all are using and that have helped you. So we'll talk, of course, more about resources. We're going to be talking about resources in the future because there's a lot to talk about. Pero muchas gracias otra vez. Spanish live stream número 33, number 33. So we'll definitely have more of these live streams. So try to have them at least once a week. So on a Friday, well, less on Friday nights now, but Saturday nights or Sunday nights, I try to have these live streams once a week. As long as no soy enfermo or algo así, as long as I'm not sick or I don't have anything to do that's really pressing. So yeah, usually once a week. So está pendiente para esto. También toque de timbre. So make sure that you turn on your alerts as well, so you can be notified for my new videos that will be coming out and live streams as well. I have 2 new videos that will be coming out next week, so I'm very excited for that. RSF, I really enjoy your live stream. Take care. Yeah, thank you very much. Muchas gracias por unirte. Thank you very much for participando y haciendo preguntas y todo eso. Ya tú sabes. Entonces, yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support because I really need it. Because sometimes, like this morning, I woke up this morning. I tell you, I did not feel like recording any videos at all. I feel like just sleeping all day long. But I got up and I recorded 2 videos. So es difícil. Es difícil para empujarme y para animarme para seguir, seguir con mi canal, seguir creando contenido. Es difícil para mí. Entonces, muchas gracias por por todo su apoyo. Y también for leaving comments. Make sure that you keep leaving comments on my videos. Those are really appreciated. I love reading your comments and interacting with y'all there. So, yeah, muchas gracias. Y también comparte mis videos con tus amigos, con tus familiares. Make sure that you share my videos with your friends, share my videos on your social media, por donde sea. Y también make sure that you, you don't have to, but I would like it if you donaciones también. Se puede donar dinero, donate dinero as well. There's a link in the description for that if you'd like to support the channel. Y RSF, que ya tú sabes. Hablamos luego. Claro que sí. Cuídate muchísimo. And don't stop studying. Make sure that you study Spanish at least once a day. Oh, no. Yeah. Study Spanish every single day. I would say study Spanish every single day. Learn Spanish every single day. Just a little bit doesn't be a lot. I recommend it because it'll make your language learning journey a lot easier, in my opinion. Pero vamos a hablar luego y cuídate muchísimo. Adiós y hasta luego. We'll talk later. Sí, Sean, siempre. He llegado a casa pronto, como terminé este directo. Tienes que cambiar tu horario. Ok, adiós.